Well, g'day. Making progress, but it's feeling like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Yeah, cutting holes in the boat again. Here between these 2 main bulkheads, I've been cleaning up this area here, which had a lot of excess wood, trying to disguise hoses and things, but I've discovered a soft spot over here, and I should have realised when I cleaned up under the sink area where there's a lot of damage from water that there's a block here which obviously is a rough repair, and I'm finding it soft on the outside. I'm going to have to cut it away. So here on the outside of the boat, that's where the sink outlet is, and this is where the soft area is. It's right down to the water line. Where we go? Right down to the water line. It's a bit soft down here. Hard as anything. Soft here. You see, this is what happens when you enclose areas that can get caught up with water, termites or both. This was all enclosed in, this was all sealed, that was all sealed, that was all sealed. So when a problem arose, no one knew anything about it. Now, this block down here, now that I've cut it, all the rotten stuff out, this block, quite a solid chunk of wood, it actually is something I'm going to keep because it actually gives a bit of strength where there's a bit of weakness there. And it itself is in quite good nick. I'll show you what it's like on the outside. Now this is the block of wood right here. This big square piece here. It wasn't even, when they glued it, wasn't even touching half of the hull. But anyway, it's good and solid and it's a strength member. Yes, and you're saying, what a mess. Yeah, if you let the rot go, this is what happens. Oh, and I've got some friends here. Here at the bow of the boat, an area that I've been putting off for some time, and that is the whole toilet arrangement. We've got missing stringers, lots of rotten stuff. Nice bit of grating there, which I will use. Time to cut more of that away. After a couple of measurements, I cut out some plywood last night and a couple of pieces and glued it together. I should have shown you how rough it was to start with because the jigsaw doesn't cut in a straight line, but with a good old angle grinder and a rasp and sandpaper, it's come up pretty smooth. So this is going to go where the stove's going to be. The main reason I designed it was so I could lay on the couch here and watch a movie nice and propped up, but also it'll stop splatter getting on the pillows, and it's a good place to hang a tea towel off as well. Also in the stove area here, I just put this in last night. That'll be a really nice little alcove to put, bottles of things and coffee and sugar and spices and stuff, and it won't fall out when I'm in rough weather. My backrest is in and looking pretty. I'll put another sheet of ply in here and now a couple of coats of epoxy there. Nice bit of fiddleback in the grain there, isn't there? Also, I've done some patches there. Unfortunately, the wood didn't quite match. Oh well, what the heck. And I built this, which is to take my electric jug. I use the electric jug a lot for coffees, and now it's got its own little spot. Here in the engine bay, I've got an expensive problem because the engine mounts have rusted out, which is hardly surprising seeing they've been dunked in and out of the high tide for about 4 years. But really expensive, over $1,000 for cheap Chinese copies on the internet. So I'm hunting around for replacements. This toilet valve outlet, I did a little test and it was leaking all around here, and be nothing worse than your poo oozing out. So I tried to undo this hexagonal nut, which wouldn't get undone no matter how hard I hammered it. So I tried cutting it away to find out it's not a nut at all, it's just a moulding to look like a nut. Anyway, I've glued it all in, it's all good and solid, replaced the plastic that I cut away. It's a good ball valve. Yeah, this doesn't look much better, but in actual fact it is. I've cut away quite a bit, and I'm quadruple coating it with epoxy, so if water gets up there, it's got absolutely nowhere to go. This piece is going to go in next. Oops, wrong way. Like so. And then another piece over the top of that, and everything gets super coated with epoxy, so it'll be a good wet area. Yes, epoxy does not stick to plastic, so what I've done is I've coated everything with super glue first, and the epoxy sticks to the super glue. There, a bit cleaner. Yeah, well, now that's in. Yes, it's a little bit rough, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be covered with those and bed, triple coated with epoxy, so I'm sure I won't have any troubles with that in the near future. Back to making a mess again, which is necessary. Before I put these in, I need to complete repairs up there. Not a perfect job, and no doubt rot spores have extended a long way into the rest of the timbers, which is going to be a permanent problem. The only way I can get around it is to just keep everything nicely sealed and dry. Here at the back of the boat, an example of rot spores becoming reinvigorated. You can see this patch here, which I did 6 months or so ago. But the moisture content in here must be above 20%, so the remaining rot spores have come alive. I'm not surprised. I've got a very leaky icebox there, and it's causing lots of problems, but getting on top of it. Here between the two main bulkheads is going to be my office. That wood looks absolutely fantastic under the red light. Doesn't really show up properly in the video, but that's coming on fine. Well, here is an interesting little dilemma. 2 days ago I found a couple of cups of seawater down in here, and I'd cut this out in preparation for putting some strengthening under the mast post here. But like, it's been over 12 hours since the boat's been in water, and this pipe just keeps leaking seawater. It's like tears of blood from a statue of Jesus or something. It just shouldn't be happening, and I sponged this up about 10 minutes ago, and this is what's happened. Over the 2 days, this much water has come through. Tonight I'm going to sleep on the boat, the first time I'm going to sleep on the boat, because the high tide's about midnight. Sort of exciting to sleep on the boat. And I'll keep an eye on what's going on here to see if water's actually coming up through here. But this is not weeping, just this pipe. And this pipe is just a piece of pipe going up here to the shower area, which is completely dry. Now the possibility is that there are subterranean termites doing some damage, there was a little colony here, and I found out that the termites actually eat their way through epoxy. I've filled up some holes and they've eaten straight through it. So maybe they've tried to find ground by digging down through the epoxy and reaching outside. Anyway, we'll see. Well, it is the second night of sleeping on the boat. It's 1 o'clock in the morning with high tide. The water did not come from the pipe, it came from a crack right next to it. So I've drilled out a large hole here, and it's quite obvious that the water is from what was being trapped between the layers of the fiberglass. So I'll keep the fan on it and see how it goes in the next few days. Well, 8 o'clock in the morning, and a bit of a surprise to see that there's more water in there than it was, which can't be good. Now, either there's a hole in the boat, or it could simply be because I haven't sponged it for over 8 hours. I've drilled it deeper, right down to the solid keel timber. Let's see what happens tonight. Meanwhile, I think I'll do some more work on the toilet support. Sleeping on your boat, your own boat, your home, which you never want to sell, is a wonderful experience. Even though it's a mess, I really like it. Getting some plywood in there, it's taking a lot of epoxy. After about 4 days of this, it's now nearly dry. This is all new. Glad I did that. Bit of a repair along there. And the toilet base is now in, good and strong. Well, time's got away from me again. The month is up, and I'll do it again next month. See you later.